Going. All right, guys, happy Monday, Inspire Beauty. Brittany here, and I'm just really excited. I'm not even going to get into any sort of announcements. Same challenge packs are on promo this month, and we just started branding boot camp today. So if you're in that group, this is going to be a really great kind of supplement to what we're doing all week long in the branding bootcamp. If you didn't get plugged into the branding bootcamp, I highly encourage you to. It's just a 5-day fun course and just kind of understanding ourselves better. I think one of the most fun parts about social media for me is how much I get to just play with it and create and have fun and learn my own voice and be my own personality. And I play with how that comes out. And so this branding bootcamp and tonight's Zoom, it's all about kind of figuring it out too for yourself. And it's a fun journey, guys. Trust me when I say journey. So I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and we're going to hop into it. Okay, so let me get back to the beginning. I'm going to get into presentation mode. All right, here we go. So tonight we're doing a little SOS, Secrets of Social Media. And so there's going to be a couple SOSs popping up throughout now and the rest of the rest of 2017, because there is an S for pretty much everything we do. Shakeology, social media, sharing, sneak peeks. Like there are so many freaking S's, guys. So there's going to be some SOS Zooms popping up in the near future. But tonight we are all about social media. So this is what you're going to expect and get out of tonight. I kind of nodded to it on our page earlier, but we're going to talk first about why we use social media as coaches. Why is that so important, right? We're going to get into delivering great content, what that means, and how to create that content using different tools and apps. We're also going to talk about creating intent and a structure with your posts so that there is a purpose behind what you're doing. We're also going to talk briefly about finding and identifying your niche, which is like it's your tribe, it's your lifer, it's your best friend. It's basically the twin version of you, and we can call those avatars as well. If you're not familiar with the term avatar, we're not going to dig into it as deeply as we did in the past tonight. So if you do get to that part of tonight's Zoom and you're really intrigued, like, oh my gosh, I want to learn more about my avatar and how I can talk to that person, we do have a Zoom on the resource page that addresses that I'd highly encourage you to go back and watch the replay. And then we're going to wrap it up with what not to post, okay? All right, so starting with why we use social media as coaches. Well, before, I'm kind of aging and dating myself a little bit, but back in the day when I needed to find something out, like in high school, I had to go to a library, and there was this thing called a card catalog that you sorted through before you found the book you were looking for to get the information. And then you sat down with said book and you opened it and you read through. It was a process. We had yellow pages when we needed to find things out. Encyclopedias helped us look for information. That's how we used to gather info before. But now, guys, it's such a connected world that we gather information so quickly now, and we can use the internet to gather that information. And most importantly, social media helps us to deliver information to people. There's other devices. I mean, you could start a blog, you could send out an email newsletter each week, but the point is that you're using social media and kind of flipping your mindset now, rather than seeing about just, when we first get our social media, typically it's like, I just want to share with people what I'm doing. And that is giving them information, but we're going to look at kind of how we gather that information to deliver in a way that makes people care about what we're saying and want to follow along. Notice, guys, that number 3 says consistency matters. None of what I say tonight, not a single thing, will matter if you don't stay consistent. Guys, you dig your own grave when you come on for 5 days and you tell people, I'm going after it. I'm doing my workout, and the next day I'm eating healthy and I'm going after it. And then the next day I'm doing great. And then Thursday comes, and then Friday you have a bad day. You get really busy. The weekend you're just trying to numb yourself because the week sucked. And then you fall off. And guys, you dig such a grave for yourself when you do that, because you show that you're not credible. You show that you're not reliable, right? And so when people are watching you, it's really important that they know you. You might say, Brittany, 3 to 5 times a day is a lot of times to post. I feel like I'm going to be annoying. But the reality is, guys, first of all, not everybody's going to see your post every time you post it. Time of day makes a difference. Just all the algorithms. There's so much intricacy to how people view and see your posting. So if you post at 7 a.m. and then you post again at 10 a.m., it might not be the same audience seeing your post. And so it's important that you spread yourself out throughout the day. If you're popping in and popping out like here and there, people are going to forget about you. But if you're always there, you become memorable and you become, I'm kind of skipping down, but you become their go-to source for information. So maybe you friend somebody today and they're like, oh gosh, it's another Beachbody coach. But then they watch you and they watch you stay consistent for month after month after month after month after month. Who do you think on January 1st, when they really finally are fed up and want to lose that weight, who do you think they're going to come back to? They're going to go to the person that is consistent in their message, okay? Because that person, to them, is totally reliable. It's important that you're providing valuable content. So we're going to talk about what that means tonight. But we use social media to provide that valuable content and being their go-to source for information. So when we deliver great content, let's talk about this. You're going to want to share why you're doing what you're doing. I see it time and time again where a coach will post, and this, guys, when I say a coach, I don't necessarily mean somebody on our team. I mean, I see coaches all across the network, and I see time and time again, people post, you know, they're shaking their hand, and it's just a selfie of them in their Shakeology, and they're like, chocolate Shakeology on my way to work. And that's great. I mean, you are drinking a chocolate Shakeology on your way to work, and yeah, you're exposing people to something that you're doing, but there's really no impact. You're not pulling at someone's heartstrings and making them understand why you're drinking it and why maybe they might need to drink it too. So sharing more about the why we're doing what we're doing is really important at times. And talking about how it makes you feel, right? So, you know, there are so many different vitamins and nutrients in Shakeology. There are ones that can help you with digestive problems. There are vitamins, nutrients, and ingredients that can help you with depression in Shakeology. There are vitamins, nutrients, ingredients in Shakeology that can help you become less bloated. There are, you know, guys, the sky's the limit. Your skin, your hair, your nails will all be improved from drinking this. And so talking about that stuff is really important. Now, I'm not saying you can never, ever, ever post that, just a shake and you and what you're doing. Absolutely. You can change it up all the time. But the idea is the majority of the time, you should be educating them. Maybe instead of telling them you're drinking a chocolate Shakeology, make their mouths water and tell them that you're drinking a chunky monkey Shakeology and then give them the recipe, right? So giving them that value is so, so, so important. Okay. And so I ask you to not be a robot when we're delivering content. If you feel, and I'm sure we've all been there because I certainly have, where you feel like, man, I feel like I'm kind of posting the same thing every single day. Well, then you need to do a serious gut check about how can you change your wording around. And something that I did in the very, 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 very beginning, because I wasn't sure how to talk on social media. I didn't have any training in it. And I really was very, I was very quiet on social media prior to becoming a Beachbody coach. I never posted. I didn't like when people tagged me in things. I hated when people checked me into stuff. I hated it. And so when I started this, I had to figure out how to get out of my comfort zone and not just be posting the same thing day in and day out. And so what I did is I'd go to Pinterest and I'd get inspired there. I would get inspired by motivational quotes, and then I'd use that quote in my post. Or maybe I'd go to Instagram and I'd look at some other coaches and see what they've been saying and how they say it and what makes it pop for me. What do I like? And then I change it around into my own words. Okay, but I wanted to not be a robot, because if you're a robot, you turn into white noise. Okay, and again, stay consistent. It's not about how many likes you get. Great content, guys. There are some things that I've posted that I hit send or post or whatever, and I'm like, heck yeah, that was the best thing that's ever been posted on Facebook ever. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Like, you should be paying me. I rock. And it gets no likes, like not even one. Guys, that doesn't mean like, oh man, I got to quit because that post was like the best thing I had and nobody liked it. It's not about how many likes it gets. Somebody could have totally read it and not actually clicked like. That doesn't mean that nobody saw it. So stay consistent with your content, even if you think that nobody cares what you're doing, guys. I promise you, it's like an iceberg. It's going way deeper than you probably have any idea if you stay consistent with it, okay? So let's talk through how to create great content. Some of the tools and apps that I like to use, when I'm on my computer, I love PicMonkey.com. And I have the paid for version. I think it's like $4.99 a month that I pay. And it's worth it for me because I like all the different fonts that comes with. But you can do the free version, absolutely. So PicMonkey is a really great one when I'm trying to make cover photos or I'm trying to make pins for Pinterest, like the really long pins or things like that. PicMonkey is where it's at. Canva is another great tool on your computer to use for creating great content. Something I'm really into, I noticed that there was an Instagram account that had a lot of white, and I loved how clean the white looked, like a lot of white borders, and I really loved that look. And so I was like, I gotta find an app that I can make, like, shrink in my images so that I have more white border, right? And so I use an app daily called Whitagram. It's WHITA gram. So just like Whitagram, I guess, but Whitagram. And you can use other color borders on it and whatnot. And there's so many other features, but I literally, every picture I take now, for the most part, goes to Whitagram and I put a border on it before I upload it. Because to me, it's really important that I have that clean white look around my images. I just want it to look clean. It helps to make my pictures pop. So there's other things, there's other apps I use. I use WordSwag a lot. I use Typic, TYPIC. I use Layout a lot when I want to make collages. Pick, Play, Post is a great app when you want to put a video with a picture. It's called Pick, Play, Post, PIC, Play, Post. When I want to take my movies, and a lot of times, guys, people don't want to watch a 30-minute workout of me. Like, nobody wants to watch that. And I don't really want to take time to, like, speed it up and edit it down. So a lot of times I just take my camera and I put it on time-lapse mode. And so it's just videoing me on time-lapse. That's when you see my videos going really fast through the workout. I put it on time-lapse and then I either upload it, if the framing is good enough, I upload it directly. Sometimes, though, it needs a little help because maybe the frame around it isn't that great. So I'll put it into iMovie and make it in there. Those are just some of the apps that I really love, guys. I use TouchBlur, BLUR. TouchBlur is a really great one when I want to blur out my background. So you probably know, like, there's that, like, guy in the background that looks like an idiot, like Peeping Tom, or my background just looks kind of ugly, or you can see all my laundry on my bed, and that's not what I want people looking at. I want them to look at, like, you know, my biceps in this flexing picture or whatever. Like, so TouchBlur is a really great app to blur out the backgrounds of things. And so I use that one a lot too. So those are just some of the, like, go-tos on my phone that I use all the time. But it's important, guys, that you don't just take pictures on your phone and smack dab them up on social media. You need to, I am not a, what is that called? See, I don't even know the name of it. What is that called when you do, like, computer design? I don't know. Anyway, I'm not that. I didn't go to school for that. But I'm able to make it look like I have some sort of professionalism behind my pictures by just using simple apps and filters that help it. I want you to make your page kind of feel like a magazine, you guys. It should almost feel like a magazine that people are flipping through of you, so that they're seeing all of you, okay? And so my challenge for you is, how do you do that? It doesn't mean go back and take out everything. I certainly have never done that. I didn't take out anything from my Facebook or Instagram when I started this. I just have since improved upon it, right? And so when I go to my Instagram, it's really important for me to scroll down, and I do audits and assessments of my own accounts. Like, okay, I hate how that one, like, sits next to it, or, oh, that looks too salesy, or, you know, the coloring on that is totally different than the rest of the colors that I'm normally using, right? And so trying to make it look kind of fluid and like a magazine, so that when people are looking at you, when people are scrolling Facebook essentially or Instagram, they should almost kind of know when it's your picture because it's got sort of the same look to it all the time. I love to use emojis and spacing in my wording to help break up the content, but also to break up the conversation. I want it to sound like you're listening to me, right? Clear, bright pics. I even recycle pictures, guys. If it's a picture from 6 months ago, I could use it again because at this point, 6 months later, I have, a lot of new friends in my network that didn't see that picture 6 months ago, right? So using pictures again, and just use them in a different way. So if you're like, oh, I don't know what to take a picture of today, or I'm lacking motivation, go back through your pictures. And I always say, live life through the lens of a coach, okay? So everything you're doing, like how could that be applicable to somebody who's following you, right? Jessica and I had a really great conversation the other day, or the other week, about how she was drinking Coke, and or she loves drinking Coke, but she got water and she was really proud of herself. And I said, you need to share that. Like, that's important. And I know you might think like, well, why is that important? But like, there's other people out there who would think that is a really great success because they're addicted to drinking pop or soda or whatever too. So living life through the lens of a coach is so important when you're trying to create great content. Okay, so now let's move on to creating intent and structure with your posts. Okay, so it's not just about you. When you're creating a post, it's not just about went for a run 6 miles. Like, yes, you did that, but you need to create engagement because after a while, it's just going to be like the Britney show. If I just continue to say what I did and give like a checklist of my events through the day, it just becomes a show about me. And the reality is our customers, our people that are following us, our potential customers, the whole thing is what's in it for them, right? They're watching you because they want to know what's in it for them. They're getting entertained, or they're getting engaged by you, or they're getting empowered by you, but it's important that there's engagement there. So ask questions. People love to give their opinion. So when you finish something with a question, that gives people an opportunity to dive in and create engagement. And the more engagement something has, guys, meaning comments and likes and loves and whatnot, the more people are going to then continue to see it on Facebook. They're going to continue to show people that. So it's important that you're trying to actively create engagement on your posts. We're going to get into the avatar in a second, but you want to speak to your avatar and your lifer. And so a lot of times when I'm speaking, I want to think about what they're struggling with, or what they can relate to with me, right? They should be able to come back to me and kind of already know about me, because when I'm talking to them, but my avatar is me, right? I love to put PS on posts because it kind of, again, it breaks it up. It breaks up the monotony. And so I put a PS. In there, I'll put a call to action. PS. Have you checked out the link in my comments for the Sean week? This is another thing, guys. When you put a link in your actual content, Facebook doesn't give it as much reach. So if you notice, I try really hard the majority of the time to not put my link in my actual content, but I'll put my link to my blog or to whatever it is, my Google form. I'll put that in the comment, the first comment. That's important too, just so you know, because the algorithm will kick it out. You'll get less views on it when there's actually a link in the thing. So, what message, guys, are you trying to send out? When you sit down to craft a post, and I say craft because it is a craft, it's time consuming. Like, I need silence when I'm writing a post, honestly. If you can write a post and have a conversation and eat pizza and watch sports at the same time, man, I don't think you're getting deep enough with your audience. So I want you to really consider, when you're crafting your post, what am I trying to tell people? Like, I always use the so what analogy, like, so what? So I posted this, so what? And there's been times where I've posted something and I've taken it down because I'm like, yeah, that just, that wasn't, that didn't give value. There was no message. So what, right? So you want to make sure that there's a purpose, and not everything. I'm going to go through that with you here in a second, but not everything has to have like a crazy purpose or a crazy call to action or a question or whatever. You're going to mix it up, right? You mix it up and you change it up, but you need to try to start incorporating some of this stuff so that you are showing people what your intention is in your posts and what you want them to get out of it. Okay, so I'm going to actually escape out of this for a second. I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to switch over to a different share. Ooh, chat, are there questions? Love it. That's what I do for my post. Sorry, I'm looking at the, perfect. All right, I'm gonna switch over so that you're looking at my Facebook now. Nope, new share, Firefox. There we go. I hope you guys can see Facebook now. So on my Facebook, I'm just gonna go through really quick and talk through some of my recent posts, okay? And the idea is so that you guys can get an idea, kind of get in my head a little bit and see where it's fluid and see where I call people to action sometimes, see sometimes where I keep it short, sometimes I keep it just empowering, sometimes it's just funny. Like I try to give them the variety of me, and we'll talk about the avatar in 1 second, but I am speaking as we go through this to my avatar the entire time. So this post was from Friday, and Friday was June 2nd, and June 2nd was a day that there's just a lot of meaning to June 2nd for me, and I realized that I had never told anybody that. I realized on June 2nd, crap, I had never told anybody that actually I was supposed to get married on June 2nd. I even had my wedding dress, you guys. And so I'd never told that. And then I was on a reality show, and I've actually never told my audience that I was on a reality show before. At least not in the last 10 years, I haven't. So I decided that I was going to talk to them about it. But look, I didn't just say that I was on a reality show. I wanted to let people know that something they might not know about me, right? And that no, I didn't win. So there's a message behind this because I didn't win the reality show. So I'm gonna get ready to tell you a message, okay? And I kind of went through the struggle that I was having and what I'm coming out with though on the end, because I also don't believe in just like right here, I could totally have stopped my post after I said that I was crying and that Frankie was wondering what was wrong. My face was buried in Charlie's chest. I could have stopped right there, you guys. But I'm not going to go on social media and give myself a little pity party. I'm going to give a message to my mess because that's who I'm trying to talk to, that woman that is struggling, okay? Then later in the day, I posted, this is like my avatar loves wine, champagne, all that good stuff. So of course I'm going to incorporate that in there. There's not really, this is more about giving them a message. Like I gave them a little quote that a friend had told me and just talked about how that was meaningful to me. Saturday morning, in moments of doubt, trust your gut, hug your dog, and eat a donut. Guys, this was shared 3 times, and people loved it. And I only used emojis. I didn't even use any words. And that was the point, because I don't always have to have something that's like so lengthy. Sometimes I just want my following to laugh a little bit, right? And to just like keep it real. Then later on Saturday, I told my following that I ate a whole order of crazy bread to myself and a glazed donut for breakfast. And what did I do afterwards? I did not guilt myself. I did not shame myself. I did not wallow in my sorrows. Nope. I just did a 25-minute workout with T25. And that was my plug into Sean Week. Okay. So I hope you noticed my structure there. I'm telling them the real raw truth of who Brittany is. I'm telling them what I did afterwards though, to get myself out of that like crappy eating rut. And then I gave them a little bit of a call to action to let them know that they could totally join me next week too. So there is structure behind it. I talked about size workout, okay? This one was just kind of a life cast, Guys, people love when I share about Frankie and they love when I share about Charlie, and so I do that on purpose. I love them both to death, but guys, that's straight up marketing for me, because every time I post about Charlie and every time I post about Frankie, I get people engaged. People follow me. People start seeing my posts more. And so find things that people like about you. Like if they love that you post about color guard, then post about it. If they love that you post about your dog, post about it. Find those things so that every once in a while you throw those in so that you can boost up your traction. I always show people on Sunday about planning out my weeks. And I even show them, guys, I'm giving them my meal plan. I talked in our group the other day. On Friday, I came live in Inspire Beauty, and I shared with you the reason why I don't feel bad for telling people that, yes, you do need to buy Shakeology to be in this group. You know why? Because look at this free content. I gave them a free stinking meal planner. And if they go to the blog, they can click on the links for all those recipes because it's in the blog. So you know what? I give people the value, right? And that's what you're trying to do. You're giving people value. This morning, guys, I really didn't know what to post, if I can be completely honest. I was like, crap, I haven't posted anything. I didn't do my workout yet. Like my mind is not really caring about posting. I was in a different place. I was worrying about talking to people and having conversations. And so I was like, but I need to post something. And so this is an old recycled photo from like a month ago that I had never used. And this is basically just a Pinterest type of quote, guys. I mean, that easy, right? Talked about Sean Week again in here, and then talking about motivation, and then sharing a recipe. Guys, I made banana ice cream and I shared the recipe, right? Giving people value. So let me switch back over to our PowerPoint. I can do this, guys. I believe in myself. I hope you believe in me too. I'm gonna leave it on this though so I can watch the timer. So let's talk about your avatar, because after seeing kind of the last post that I've been doing since about Friday, my avatar is who I speak to. My avatar, the first thing I want you to do is ask yourself, who am I speaking to? Because most certainly you don't need to speak to everyone. You don't have to speak to everyone that's on your Facebook friends list. You don't. So I want you to pick three things that define you. For me, my first category would be like my family life. Like I'm a dog mom, I'm engaged, I'm Christian, and so I kind of encapsulate all of that. My next category would be how I want to encourage women, right? So struggling with depression or struggling with not feeling like they're enough, women who feel like they can do things on their own, but then realize they need community in the end. That's who I like to talk to. I'm also a teacher, a writer, a cook. Like I love all that stuff. A wannabe Wheel of Fortune contestant. So that's who I talk to. I talk to those people because that defines me. So I think, what does my avatar, what does this person struggle with, right? How can I relate and help them? And so when I'm writing my posts, guys, I'm like having a convo with myself. I am talking the way I would talk. I love to say fave. I don't say favorite, my fave recipe. And so I say fave when I write that. I always say y'all, come on y'all. I'm not Southern. I don't know why I say y'all. I think it's drum corps. I think I met too many people that do say y'all in drum corps, and I kind of like the word y'all. So I say y'all all the time, even though I'm not Southern. So you'll notice in my posts that I use the word y'all. I'm kind of sarcastic, so I like to use the laughing face, and I love to use the emoji that's like the one crazy eye and the tongue out, because I'm a little bit sarcastic at times, and I like to think that I'm funny. So talk to yourself, talk how you would talk, and talk like you're having a conversation. Guys, our team is so different. We have a lot in common, but we're all so very different people. But yet we all are able to reach the people who need us. So remember that. You don't have to be me. I don't have to be you. I want you to be uniquely you. Okay. I'm so close. Okay, next. What not to do on social media. Okay. And I'm telling you this list because this list is like, this is me 101. This is stuff I used to do. Do not share posts. So as much as you might find, like, let's say I posted something, a recipe, right? And you loved my recipe. And I'm not talking about like sharing a blog article or anything like that. I'm like saying, don't click share post on my post and then share it, or anybody else on the team. And here's why. Because when you share someone else's post, you are telling your following to go follow that person because their value and their content is better than yours. You are saying that. If you share something that I did or said, and you just share that and that's it, you're telling your followers to go watch me because I've got something. So instead of doing that, what I'd rather you do is, if you love something that someone on our team said or another coach, take that content, right? Switch up some of the wording. Ask them if you want to use the picture. Just, hey, can I save your picture and use it again, right? Just, you can reach out and ask people that. I'd never say no. But then make it your own so that it's physically coming from your mouth, not sharing what someone else is saying. You don't want to be white noise. So another thing that I see a lot is people will just, like, have you ever friended somebody and you go to their page and when you scroll, it's like shared, they shared an image, they shared a video, they shared a article, they shared another image, they shared another image, they shared an article, they shared a video. And you're like, does this person have a life? Like, who are they? I just want to see your face. And you can't even tell what they look like because their profile is a picture of like the flowers they got 6 Mother's Day ago. Like, I don't know who you are. You have to share this with me. And so those people are like always a red flag for me, because I'm like, man, I can't be friends with somebody that won't let me in. I got to know you a little bit, just a little, right? So don't be that white noise either. Like, as much as you might find a video, guys, I'm on social media all freaking day long. I find so many freaking videos that are so funny all the time, but I don't share them. I watch the video, I laugh at it, and I move on with my life. And you can too. You don't have to share something, because what it ends up becoming is, again, just white noise. You're scrollable. People are just going to continue to scroll. Remove negativity from your posts. So remember earlier when I was showing you my post about, June 2nd, I didn't just stop at the negativity, guys. I made sure there was a message. And so it's important that we don't just share that we're having a bad day and that's it. If you're having a bad day, like I literally, genuinely, a few years back, remember, I was having one of the worst days of my life and I didn't know what to do. And I really needed people. And so I put on social media that, even the best of us stumble, even the best of us have hard days. And, if you could send me any positive encouragement, I would so appreciate it. But I didn't just say like, my day sucks, like I tried to make sure that they knew that I'm always there for them. And today I need you to be here for me. Use your judgment with controversial topics. So I have like my notes of what I was writing before I made this PowerPoint. And the first one I wrote was Trump. Because that's a no-go. Like, guys, if it's going to create an argument on your page, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to have that controversy on your page. But again, you use your judgment. So when the unicorn frappuccino came out at Starbucks, that was kind of controversial. But I stood up and I put in my thoughts and my opinions on it, because that was in line with my avatar and with my message about nutrition, right? And so that controversy I was okay with, because it was something that was kind of around my brand, if that makes sense. Okay, next one. Use your intention, guys. Don't post just to post. So remember when I said, guys, if you can, like open a beer with your armpit and like change the channel with this hand and post with your pinky and like have a conversation and post if you can do all that at once, there's no value in what you're saying. I want you to think it through. I want you to ask yourself, how am I educating or entertaining someone? And if that means that the night before you sit down and you already have your morning post ready to go because you sat down while the commercials were going and you crafted up a post, so be it. I want you to do that. I want you to, sometimes at night I'll craft my morning one so that I don't have to think in the morning. And then once I'm kind of like awake and like, okay, now I'm feeling inspired. Okay, that's when I'll write my next one. Find those peak moments in your day when you feel inspired and use those to be the times that you either craft your post to use for later or post, okay? But try to find those moments in the day, those pockets when you feel inspired to do that. Do not post blurry dark pics. We already kind of talked through that. It should be visually appealing, guys. Think about the lighting. You don't want just like a big bright light. One big trick, guys, is to have a light behind, like you're looking at the light should be pointing at you. So for example, I have this light that I often use. Like if I had the light behind me, it wouldn't be good, but when it's this way, it gives better lighting. You can't really tell right now because of the other light that I have on, but you want the light to be coming from behind and onto you, okay? That'll be helpful to make the lighting better. And then use those apps to fix brightness. Don't be stock, don't be basic, guys. Don't post photos that like you got Autumn Calabrese's 21-day fix picture of her before and afters. Like, guys, come on, use something else. You don't need to use Beachbody's pictures. Use you. Take their stuff and use your own picture to make it all about you. And don't put money in your posts either, guys. That's a big no-no. Don't post without value. We talked through this also. So you don't just take that sweaty selfie. Only coaches are going to care about that. We want other people to care. We want other people to know why it's important for them to be a part of what we're doing. And your bonuses, mix it up, guys. Like I showed you, my posts are different size lengths. Sometimes I have videos. Sometimes I have pictures. Sometimes I just have a quote using emojis, all that stuff. Find fun ways to mix it up. Okay, here's your call to action. I got less than a minute. It's going to kick me off, but I will screenshot this and put this on the team page when we're finished here. So your call to action, what are your top 3 to describe you? I want this to be shared on the team page under this post when I put it up. What's your go-to app? What one thing are you doing that you will stop doing on social media immediately? And what's one thing that you will start doing immediately after this call? Guys, I did it. We didn't get kicked off. I'm so freaking proud of you. Okay, I'm going to attempt to take a picture. Everyone smile! Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, you're awesome. Okay. I hope that helped, guys, tonight. If you're not in the Branding Bootcamp, join us over there. I'm going to take this over to the team page, and you can comment with all those takeaways. Have a great night, guys.